Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to the Skrull Halfheight unboxing. So, Skrull is a dwarf player that can play for a myriad of teams. His kind of angle is that he's a really good thrower once per game. If you want to know more about what Skrull does in the game, please go have a look at our star player spotlight. I'll try and remember to link it up above. We go through the rules and which teams he can play for and why you would want to use him. But for now, what we're going to do is we are going to open this box and build this miniature. So inside the packet you get 4 little tiny sprues of resin. Now I have already washed these. I recommend washing them with a tiny bit of soap and lukewarm water. Do not go hot water, you might melt your miniature, that would be bad. Cold water is probably safer than hot water. So you also get this bit of paper, which can be difficult to get out because the packets, they're basically packeted very similarly to razor blades, which is an absolute nuisance. Or if you ever try to unpack a pack of scissors, you'll know what I mean, vacuum packed plastic. So you've got the instructions on the back, so we can see that there is 7 pieces to scroll. But also, I thought this was pretty good, you get the profile of the player. Now this is going to be straight out of Spike 11, but you get a little bit of background and a little bit of info there, which is a really cool little extra. I don't think I've noticed this before. We don't normally cover the Forge World miniatures, but couldn't resist these ones. So you get that, and you get the instructions. Let's have a look at some of the detail here. So, we've got the resin cast here. You can see there's a couple of bits of damage, but it's really not that bad. The supports are chunky though. And all across this miniature you're going to get these kind of resin feathers. Now when you wash them, if you give them a bit of a clean with a large dry brush or an old toothbrush, it will get most of that off. But as you can see, I left that bit on here, it just kind of rubs off. It's just a little bit of residue left over from the mold making process. So we've got the body there, we've got the hands here, and you can see trademarks everywhere. Incredible cast quality actually. To be fair of this, you can see the strings, you can see the detail on the ball. I mean, it's like engraved on the ball there, which is pretty cool. And the teeny tiny dwarf legs. Again, we've got some more mild flash, but the actual miniature part itself has been cast pretty well. Okay, so he is built, and that was a little bit harder than I was expecting, to be honest with you. I think the beard here needs to go in to his torso before you glue the torso to the legs. Definitely one to watch out for there, and also really be careful with all of the joins. I've got a little pin file here, and I tell you what, I had to kind of scratch away at a lot of the joins to make sure that they fit properly and fit close. Now the arms went in absolutely perfect, which was very useful, and the miniature itself is really cool. I mean, let's see if we can't get a little bit of a better zoom on it. Can we do it? Can we do it? Can we do it? There we go. So look at the pock marks on the armor. Like, I love this around the edges. There's great detail on the beard. This arm is pretty sweet as well. Detail on the legs. It's a really cool miniature. The paint job on the Forge World, I think, for one of the first times, does a really good job of kind of showing off what the model has to offer. You can see there that before I prime it, there's some bits of resin fluff down here and things that you've got to clean up. So it's a bit of clean up to this miniature. Now let's have a look at the size. So naturally, my dwarves are in storage, so let's have a look at some other miniatures that I have on my painting table. So this is a Goblin Bruiser from the Black Orc team. Let's see how he sizes up compared to Skrull. So size wise, they are a little bit comparable. Skrull does feel a little on the slight side when it comes to this. Now this is a strength 3 guy, this is a strength 2 guy. I mean, I'm not going to lie, the Goblin has a massive head, and I don't know if that's fair. Poor Goblin. So the dwarf, a little bit slighter than the Goblin, and here we've got against a human nobility thrower, my Fitzmagic. If you check out the size wise, actually it probably is about right for a dwarf. I think the dwarf plastics might be a little bit larger. I think they are a little bit larger than Skrull, and because he's going to be playing on a necro team, let's check him out versus a zombie and a ghoul, and you know what, he's going to line up just fine. So a little bit fiddly to build, but overall a really cool miniature. Okay, so that is Skrull Halfheight from Forge World for Blood Bowl. Alright, okay. The miniature is a little bit smaller than I would expect it to be, and it's a little bit fiddlier than I would expect it to be. However, if you are not trying to build it while filming, it's probably fine. If you've got an hour to build it, to just take your little file, scrape pieces away to make it fit well, I think you're going to enjoy it, because it is a pretty cool miniature. It's a very unique miniature. There are no other dwarf throwers holding a goblin arm, or elf arm, I think, with the ball still attached. That's pretty cool. So as a painting project, Skrull's going to be awesome. And the cool thing is, do watch our Star Player Spotlight, but he is very usable in games. First of all, you can use him as a ghoul. I think that would be a pretty good way to get him on the pitch more regularly. You can use him as a dwarf runner if you've got like an underworld kind of dwarf thing going on. That would be pretty sweet as well. But secondly, because he only comes in at 150k, you can use him in a league every now and again, because he plays for multiple teams and he will do stuff. And it will be really fun. So I'm a huge fan of Skrull. I do like the miniature. Downside, a little bit fiddly. It is resin and it's not the best cast resin. We've seen some other great resin recently. I mean, Windsor Chog was always the highest, but WA Games have done a superb job with their Morg cast resin. And £22 with postage is probably a lot for a miniature that is somewhat smaller than a Goblin Bruiser. But if you're in the market for a painting project, for something special for your team, or quite frankly, you just need a little treat, this is going to be really good for you. And you are going to get into the pitch every now and again, and that's going to feel really good. Anyway guys, thanks very much for watching. I'm going to disappear now. We'll bring more Blood Bowl content soon, but for now, happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.